A state lawmaker wants to allow businesses to pay some workers less than minimum wage.
A lot of businesses are scared.
Now they are protesting minimum wage. They want to see it raised to $15 per hour.
Whoa, what? Let's talk.
Minimum wage, an amount of money that is the least amount of money per hour that workers must be paid according to the law. Clearly just the system trying to make sure that workers aren't exploited by their employers, right? If it's lasted for over 100 years, which it has, then it must be good, right? Or is it? The minimum wage was created to jumpstart the US economy back out of the Great Depression by our founding economic brothers and sisters to boost the incentive to work. It was exactly what we needed to get out of the Great Depression. Now fast forward 100 years and we still have the minimum wage working to keep people paid, right? Minimum wage laws must still be creating new jobs for the people, is what you might say. However, when you look at the rate of jobs that are being offered in the last decade, you notice that in proportion to the people, there have been less jobs offered. And so now you begin to wonder, why is that so? How come less jobs are offered if more people and more businesses are coming? This is even weirder when you realize that minimum wage has only gone up since then. So how come there aren't as many workers, or at least aren't more workers, when employers are literally forced to pay us more for entry-level jobs? Minimum wage is working in our favor, so how come we aren't working as much? That's where the issue is. See, our greatest grandparents, once allies, started working against us. Minimum wage is leading to fewer jobs, and here's why. Problem number one, employers don't want to spend more money. One of the basic fundamentals of economics is that when the price of something goes up, people buy less of it. This is true not only for the consumer, but for the employer as well. Raising the minimum wage that an employer has to pay for each employee reduces the amount of workers that an employer is willing to hire. If you hire an entry-level worker to knead dough at your local bakery, then the employer's profit is going to come out of the worker's net output worth. Say that you pay him $10 an hour to bake, and their work produces $20 of revenue. That makes sense, and the baker is happy working this job. However, what the minimum wage is doing forces employers to pay for a worker's job despite their output. So now our baker is mandated to receive at least $22 for his work. That $22 won't affect the baker's net output worth of $20, which puts our employer at a net loss. With no incentive to hire bakers for a net loss job, our employer will eliminate the job entirely, putting our poor baker out of a job. This is already happening in the US, with increasing reports of understaffing in Starbucks by the baristas themselves because they don't have coworkers anymore because it's simply too expensive to hire. Or similarly, in the case of Foster's Freeze, an entire company pressured to shut down the exact same day that the 2024 new average for minimum wage was released.
Look, the minimum wage worked back in the 1900s because employers were abusing their wages by paying employees barely anything worth working for. But now, in a world where fair pay is commonplace and competitive in proportion to the job, the minimum wage is only forcing businesses like our bakery that require menial labor to run to pay employees more than their services are actually worth and completely eliminates the job to begin with, aka the exact opposite of what the minimum wage was meant to do in the first place.